start with that twist pose on the floor where you have the arms out and then you bend the knees up. And this is where you've got all kinds of choices for props. You can put a pillow, you can put a rolled blanket, or like I have these 2 blankets. I could put these 2 blankets up and put my arms on the floor and then just get a little twist here. So, and you can, there's a few things you can do while you're here. And you know, if you need more height, you just add more height. I'm just trying to remember the correct diagonal. I'm always doing this. Basically, you want your shins and your feet on this support. So you can bring the knees lower and stay there for a few breaths as the lower spine and the whole abdominal area twists. And then you can also, after a few breaths, bring the knees a little bit higher towards that arm. You can also keep the head in neutral, so look up at the ceiling. Or if you don't have any neck problems, or you just want to experience that, you can start to bring the ear towards the floor. It may not reach the floor, but that's where the stretch is. So you need to just be cautious and thoughtful about how you address your neck, because we never want to impinge on our neck, and we want to try as best as possible to still have all that movement supporting the head on top of the spine. So in yoga, we have opportunities to play with the positioning of the head, or to keep it more neutral when we are more challenged. So with the knees on the blankets, you're opening. In my case, my knees are towards the right side, so I'm opening and breathing into the whole left side lung. So you can really feel the widening there. And you really want to ground your shoulders here in this pose so that they can spread wide. And then you can also imagining the sit bone from the top leg really pressing towards the opposite wall. You can even take your hand and place it here, creating more space in that side waist. So when we're creating space in our side body like this, it's really about giving the breath space, giving the organs space, giving the lungs full access to really breathe as much into the body. So that's one of the reasons. And this is a pose that you can do at home anytime, and you can do it for quite a long time. This could be part of a sequence of restorative poses. So just knowing that, you know, if you only have time for a pose, this is one you could do. There's so many you could do as one pose of the day. A downward dog, a feet up the wall, or just doing a little twist like this can be just quite restorative. So I've been chatting for a while, so I'm sure we've been there for a while. So bend the knees up and then take your, whatever your support is. So I'll just show you, you can also be using blocks if you have them. And again, like I said, you can make up your own your own blocks by using hardback books. I don't know if people have so many hardback books anymore, but some of us have a huge library. Depends on your era. And so the shoulder blades are really grounding to the floor. The collarbones move wide so you can feel out to the tips of the fingertips. So there's different things you can focus on this pose. You can focus on really breathing into the right side lung. You can focus that sit bone lengthening. And you can also focus on that space between the palms, between the fingertips, feeling how the shoulder blades really press into the floor and roll down. So this is one of those poses that can really fall into the more restorative, relaxing kind of poses. So hopefully we've got it pretty evened out. And then you'll inhale the knees up and place the feet on the floor. I better move my props out of the way. And we'll start some abdominal awakening. So palms down by your hips. You can inhale the knees to the chest, extend, opening the legs up to the ceiling, bending the knees, feet on the floor. So this pose serves a couple of things. We're really stretching through the legs. And we're also really working back into those abdominals. And you can also bring the arms overhead, or you can support the head and bring the hands under the head, which I really like doing because, again, it feels like I'm opening the fronts of my shoulders when I do that. And it's a little bit more intense into my abdominals. And then just keep the breathing moving as you bend, extend, exhale, bend the knees towards the chest, softening the feet on the floor. And then do 2 more like that. And then bring the feet down. And if you need to shake out a little bit, you can press into the heels and shake out the hips a little bit. That feels good. You don't have to do that if you don't want. And then we'll do that pose we just did as an abdominal pose. So you bring the arms out, you bend the knees into the chest, then exhale towards the right hand. And this is where it becomes more of an abdominal pose. And then you extend the top leg, so the left foot's coming to the right hand, working back into those left side abdominals. And then bring the other foot to meet it. So the legs are not down low like this. You're trying to bring them up towards the hand. And then bending the knees, coming back to the center. And then exhale towards the left side. I should probably scoot over a little bit. Exhale towards the left side. And extend the right leg, the top leg, towards the left hand, and then the left leg to meet it, working back into those abdominals, and then bending the knees and placing the feet on the floor. And again, you can lift up and shake out a little bit. And then we'll do another little abdominal thing just to wake up the side abdominals a little bit. So we will come to, we're going to do just half plank pose. So I'm laying on my left side here. So again, it's nice to use the edge of your mat to do this. And then one of the easiest ways to do this pose is to bring the fist and the forearm here. Now you don't want the arm way out here because you can't engage the shoulder. So you bring that arm in so you can really feel the muscular action in your bicep. And then you press up and the top arm is going to hold you up. So that's just really bringing those underside abdominals up. You can look at the top hand, couple of breaths, and then release that. And I'm going to show you, so I'm facing you and not turning away from you, on the other side. So again, you try to line yourself up so the ankles and the knees and the hips are stacked on each other. And then you don't want that arm way out because then you can't support your shoulders. So bring it underneath. You've got the fist, and then you press up. Use the top hand. Look at that top arm. Couple of breaths there. And then you slowly come down, and then come into, put the big toes together, knees wide, walk the hands out, and just really press those sit bones back towards the heels to get that length in the torso after we were working a little bit aerobically. So now you can slow down the breath. And then inhale to all fours, and you'll tuck the toes under and come into downward facing dog. And just because it feels good, you can start to just walk the legs out. You can shake the head out a little bit so you can loosen up the neck. And then, if you like to do this stretch, you can slowly bend the knees, really bring the armpits to the floor, and then straighten the legs, really working those front thighs. And then bend the knees down and come into big toes together. Knees wide, couple of breaths here. And then again, inhale, coming up to all fours. Tuck the toes and coming to a downward facing. And then if you can, I'm going to walk around this way, keep the head low, bring the feet wide, and if you need something under your hand, you can have a block, but you want to make the feet parallel to the outer edges of the mat. Put your right hand in the middle. This is where if you need a block, or if you needed a chair, you could do that. And then slowly bring the opposite arm up. And then slowly bring that hand down, and either using the block, I'll show with the block on the other side. You bring the palm on the block. You really want to work those legs so the outer ankles go into the outer hips. You're lifting those front thighs, and then you bring that top arm up. And then bring those hands back to the center. And then see if you can bend the knees a little bit, bring the hands to the hips, or if you're okay in the hamstrings, you can keep the torso long. A couple of breaths here. And inhale, coming up. So your feet are already wide, and we'll do some standing poses this way, where you just want to be soft in the knees as I'll do mirror image. So you'll bring that left foot toe to heel, right foot heel to toe. And then inhale those arms up, shoulder height. And you really reach, 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 like you're trying to touch the wall over there, finding the thigh or the shin, the top arm can come up. Now again, here you want to engage those abdominals, and that's what's going to help you turn the head if you're okay in the neck. Otherwise, you can keep the head in neutral and just look forward. So you're trying to keep that head and tail in line with each other, and it's not throwing the neck back or too much forward either. And then inhale those arms up and bring the feet back to parallel. And then with soft knees, you can take the right foot toe to heel, left foot heel to toe, and then really reach that arm, finding the thigh or the shin, and the top arm comes up, really engaging those thighs, like you could stand here without the arms, so it's the complete leg support. And then inhale, slowly come up, bring those legs wide. Again, we're going to come forward. And again, if you need a block or even a chair, if you really needed something underneath you for this, we're again going to put the right hand down, lift the left arm up. You can also keep that head looking down or looking to the side or looking up to the top hand. And then coming through the center again, put the left hand down, right arm up. And then bring the hands to the hips, or maybe you've got your hands on the blocks. If you need to have soft knees, you can have soft knees. And then you can slowly come up. We're just making sure you don't get dizzy. And then we're already in the legs wide, so we'll take the left foot toe to heel, right foot heel to toe. And as we're going to bend into Parsvakonasana, so we put the forearm here. If you have a block, you can always put the block behind the foot, and then the top arm can come straight up or up and over. So the block has many ways it can go, at least 3 ways if you want that. Or you can keep the forearm on the thigh. And again, you really engage those abdominals, and that helps twist the spine a little bit so that you can look up to the top arm, or you can keep the head neutral. And then inhale, slowly come up, bring those feet parallel, and then again, soft knees so that you can take the left foot toe to heel, right foot heel to toe, bending. Better take my block over here. That's why in class we have our blocks and we put them both on the side. Bending here, you can have the forearm on the leg, top arm just straight up or up and over. The block can go many levels. And what's nice about having the block there is then you can use the arm and the leg together, so you can really press the arm and the leg together. And then inhale, slowly come up, bring the feet parallel. And then again, we'll go down and do one of those twists. So just, come slow, don't go fast. It might get easier if we do it multiple times. If you need the block, the chair, whatever extra there to do this twist, you can, placing the right arm in the center, Inhale the left arm up. And slowly switching sides, left hand down, right hand up. And then both hands down, or you can bring both hands to your hips for a couple of breaths, or you can have soft knees to roll up the spine. So whatever works for you. And we'll take a couple of breaths here in legs wide. I can start to feel that now too. So in a way, with going down, we're, going into that head lower than the heart business. So, which can help us when we go into things like headstand. Anyway, so again, take the left foot toe to heel, right foot heel to toe. And this time it is useful to have a block. If you don't have a block, you don't need to worry about it. But what we're going to do is we're going to slowly come into triangle with the top arm here for a minute. And then as we bend the leg, we inch the back foot in. If you've got the block, then you can put your hand there and bring the top leg up into Ardha Chandrasana. And if you can use the arm, you can. If not, you can just bring it down. And then what I like about this pose now is bending the front leg and really extending long so it's even longer. You can come back through triangle pose. And this pose, this particular way I learned, and then slowly come up. I learned in California 2 years ago when I went to an Iyengar class in Encinitas. And that's the way that the main teacher was practicing. So bring the arms down, a couple of breaths here. And you can always bring the block to the other side. And then bending the knees, you can take the right foot toe to heel, left foot heel to toe. And then as you bend the front, come down into the triangle first. Always have to remember what I've just done. And then bending the front leg, you can reach towards the block and put the top leg up. Or if you have a chair, what's nice is just putting the hand or leaning on the top bar of the chair. I used to teach pregnant women this way, just using chair for this pose. And then again, really bend the front leg, extend that leg really long, and come into Utthita Trikonasana. And then inhale, slowly come up, bring the feet parallel. Just inch them closer together. I think we did a lot of legs wide there. So just give yourself a minute to have a bit of softness and do a little bit of spine rolling just to soften some of those layers. And then we're going to come down to sitting, because we'll do legs wide sitting this way. It could be useful to have a belt, but I'll show you how to do it all. And it could be useful to have a block. So we'll come into legs wide, and if you need more height, you just take more height. Like sometimes, you need a couple of blankets, a couple of pillows, because it's very hard to sit this way. You can also modify how far out the legs go as well. Ballet dancers bring them all the way up, but my legs don't do that. The key here is to really engage the thighs, toes up to the ceiling, so that you're not rolling them back or rolling them forward, which I can't even do, but I would have a tendency more to do that. But everybody has different tendencies. So We're going to sit up as vertical as we can here. And then we're going to turn towards the right side. So this is the right side for me. Now, if you have a belt, you can bring that belt here and bring the abdominals there. Stay here for a couple of breaths. And then if you're able to come a little deeper, you can come a little deeper. And if you don't have the belt, you just put your hands on the side of the leg. You can just like even hold the calf. And it's fine with me if you bend the arms, you know, although there's a lot of teachers who will say always to straighten the arms, but as you go deeper, the arms may soften a little bit too. But the arms are meant to also work and do certain holds on the foot too. And then inhale, slowly come up and come back through the center. This is also, you know, like if you sat on something, sometimes you can put supports under your knees too if you need that. And then twist to the other side. And again, you can just bring the hands over here, or if you've got a belt or a towel. I used to teach kids where I just ask them to bring a towel because not everybody's got a belt. I think I even knew people who would find old real belts to use. Yoga belts, again, are a very specific prop that teachers started to make or have made. And there's many different kinds too. So stay here for a few breaths. And you don't want to forget about the opposite leg. You still want to be pressing that down. And if you want to hold the foot, or if you hold the belt, you can go a little bit deeper, kind of like head to knee pose. And then inhale, slowly come up. And again, have the legs wide. And then we're going to go into a version of Parivita Jana Shirasana, which is revolved head to knee pose. So I'm bending in my right leg here, and I'm trying to have the shin on the floor. And then I'm lining my torso up with the left leg. So I'm going to start here. And then one of the easiest ways I have found to go into this pose is to bend the knee, and then I can take my hand and turn the thumb and the first two fingers into the knee. And you can just stay here in this pose, like here, and then trying to lift the shoulder up, and you can bring the arm up and over if this is as far as you can go. You can also have a block here to help keep that elbow close into that thigh. And then, of course, if I can do it, the final pose is feeling that in the hip. The final pose is trying to straighten the leg, and the arm comes to the outer part of the foot. But you can just stay here, you can stay in the bend, you can use block inside. And then inhale, slowly come up. Bring that right leg out. And you might just want to shake out the legs for a minute before we do the other side. You know, you're always welcome to shake out the legs in between poses. And then for the other side, I'm bending in my left shin. And then I'm turning my torso to bring it in line with the right leg. And then the next phase is bending that knee and taking the hand and turning the fingers in towards the big toe. So that helps to bring the elbow down in front of the leg. And again, I forgot to show the belt part. If you have a block, you can always put the block in front and get that shoulder up. With the belt, of course, you can put the belt around the foot to get more in there, or you can use the belt for the top hand. And then again, the goal is to try to straighten the leg out, and the top arm comes to the outer part of the foot, and you revolve your belly up to the ceiling. And then inhale, slowly come up and bring both legs out. But this time you do really want to, here comes my cat who wants to rest on the block. You really want to shake out those legs. He's going to try to reach for me. And just bring them into to Dandasana, just to get that lift of the body in Dandasana. And you also may be sitting on a blanket, just wanting that lift. And then slowly release that and find what you need for whatever kind of Shavasana you want. Feet up the wall, regular Shavasana with the legs over this. You can use the chair, put your legs on the chair. You can put something under your pelvis to give you that inversion. So whatever works well for you. And feet up the wall is one of those beautiful poses that's really lovely to do for even as much as 10 minutes. So whatever pose you're in, see if you can find the comfort or the as close as, whatever is part of your body's on the floor, that you can really let go of the weight and let gravity support you. And then starting with the tops of the toes, softening the tops of the toes to the backs of the toes. The tops of the feet soften back to the balls of the feet and the insteps. Top of the ankle softens to the back of the ankle and the heel of the foot. So your whole foot is relaxed. Top of the knee is, top of the shin is softening to the calf. And top of the knee is softening to the back of the knee. So your whole lower leg and your knee are relaxed. Upper thigh, quadriceps, your large femur bone is softening back to the hamstrings and the back of the leg. So your whole upper leg is relaxed. And then imagining your pelvis like a bowl, so the outer edges are softening, the rim softens, the the content soften. So the whole pelvic bowl into your thigh sockets is relaxed. Front of the rib cage is softening to the back of the rib cage. So your whole rib cage is relaxed. Upper chest, sternum area, collarbones and fronts of the shoulders are softening back into the shoulder blades and the space between the shoulders. So your whole shoulder girdle is relaxed. Your fingers, top of the fingers are softening to the back of the fingers. The palm of the hand is softening to the back of the hand. Top of the wrist softens to the back of the wrist. So your whole hand from your wrist is relaxed. Inner arm is softening to the back of the forearm. Inner elbow softens to the back of the elbow. So your whole forearm from your elbow is relaxed. Bicep is softening back to the triceps. So your whole upper arm from your shoulders down to your elbows is relaxed. Your throat is softening back to the back of the neck. Your face, your nose, your forehead, your chin are all softening back to your ears and the back of the head. So your whole throat, neck, head, and face are relaxed. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Finding a little bit of movement into your fingers, your toes, your hands, your feet. And then you can slowly give yourself a nice stretch, rolling to one of your sides. Just make sure that you don't abruptly bring your head up. See if you can find your way up so that the spine rolls up and the head is the last thing to come up. Have a beautiful evening, morning, day, whatever wherever you are in the world, wherever you are in your day. See if you can take this softness or this state of being in yourself with you. Thank you. And thank you for coming, and namaste.